So the creators of High Guardian Spice are actually trying to defend that garbage. We're gonna react to the Hero Here video to the fullest. I'm gonna pause in between and stuff like that.
And I'll tell you right at the start,
Let's get
I
started.
certainly wasn't expecting that we'd be talking about High Guardian Spice again in the latter part of January 2022. I mean, heck,
new
we were
Genshin
told this thing
players,
was
man.
supposed to come out in 2019. And I just personally get so much amusement out of the fact that Crunchyroll in their trailer still says coming 2019 right there in the title. Oh man. But anyways, we got
They didn't
a lot
even
of reading
bother to
do
fix
for
it.
this
That's
segment,
lazy, man.
So let's just get started. The reason we're talking about High Guardian Spice once again right now is because the creator, Ray Rodriguez, had a bit of things to say over on Twitter, and let's take a look at what those things are. From less than 24 hours ago.
High Guardian Spice had a very small budget. We were the first show of a non-union studio. If you are mad at the animation quality, it was the budget. BG art budget, writing budget. We literally started storyboarding the first episode before the first script was finished. Is he being sarcastic? Are you fucking kidding me?
High Guardian Spice had a very small budget. We were the first show of a non-union studio. If you're mad at the animation quality, it was the budget. BG art, budget. Writing, budget. We literally started storyboarding the first episode before the first script was finished.
This doesn't make any sense.
When we inevitably ran into problems, all productions do, we didn't have the time or money to slow down and fix them. We had to barrel forward and make do with what we had.
The question is, why is he making that excuse right now when it doesn't even matter anymore? Like, for real. We have January 2022.
Because it's on Crunchyroll, but it isn't anime. It's a cartoon made with the same pipeline as any other American cartoon.
That's stupid. That's stupid. Why is Crunchyroll even promoting that stuff on an anime site? Like, you subscribe for anime on that site, it streams anime, and that's what you're coming for, and then you get that shit. Like,
let's ask, like, why now?
Why?
Why is the statement being made now? Anyways, continuing. Our budget was comparable to a Cartoon Network show, I believe that's what CN stands for there, which are usually 11 minutes long, are comedy-centered, and have much simpler backgrounds and characters. Really, the best show to compare High Guardian Spice to is Onyx Equinox, our sister show, and the only other show made at the same studio as High Guardian Spice. Onyx Equinox had the advantage of learning from mistakes made.
Like, no one liked that show.
And being unique.
I mean, HGS.
But it was a lot of the same team and same pipeline.
Not even the people it was made for didn't like it. Like, the gay people. But it was made for, like, a diverse fan base, to be honest, and they tried to achieve diversity. That was the only thing.
But we were trying
like,
to
story,
make was incredibly
character development,
I really have to read this.
everything else completely irrelevant.
Okay.
Yes.
What we were trying to make was incredibly ambitious for what we were working with, and what we did, and we did the best we could. Excuse me. Maybe in another timeline, High Guardian Spice would have gotten the budget and schedule and
believe that.
Full potential. And also in another timeline, maybe High Guardian Spice.
If you give me 3 years, I would solo that show like 10 times better. Just on the writing side, not on the animating stuff and stuff like that. I'm just one person, but I can give you a better storyline if you just give me a few hours. And everyone can do that.
This wouldn't have been roped into the culture wars.
They didn't develop the characters, they didn't develop anything.
Before it came out. Whose fault is that, by the way? But alas, this is the timeline we're in, and all I can do is shout about it on Twitter. Months later, I'll add. Instead of piling onto the High Guardian Spice's trash campaign, maybe think about what happened behind the scenes to make it that way. Pause, wait, is that Ray basically saying that High Guardian Spice is trash? Maybe that's a semantical argument. I don't want to make an argument. I'm just pointing out the way it's worded is a little bit funny, okay?
But he's saying it like, yeah, it wasn't our mistake. It wasn't not completely our fault.
Just saying. Continuing. Have empathy for the real human beings who did their best working on it, and think critically about who started the campaign in the first place.
They should try better.
I really did not even expect to be talking about this show again. So I'm just going to say, I don't think it's really fair to say that everything is like a hate campaign against the show. I've seen so much legitimate criticism against this show, which actually I'd say is by far the majority.
PNG bread. Point.
And to just be like, oh, it's a hate campaign, doesn't really seem like a great take. Also, I'm trying to be fair here. Like, I totally get it. Look, if there was some issues behind the scenes with the budget and all that, okay. But ultimately, you're not the first studio to have budget constraints. And I've seen plenty that have budget constraints turn out better products than what you had.
Damn, Thomas not that
Again,
great
I'm
here,
trying
eh?
to
Use Shing
sympathize
Full
with the
Tower and
situation.
Ryan.
However,
Dream Team.
what I just read really comes off like a lot of deflection, a lot of excuses. I think cutting back on some of that and saying something like, we still could have done a better job, and or we mismanaged some things. We could have managed things better, managed our resources better. Maybe also saying something like, we're all pretty inexperienced, but we've learned a lot and we look forward to improving from here. I don't know. Just some suggestions. And heck, even if Ray would have left the statement the exact same way but added some of the suggestions that I just made, it doesn't have to be worded like that. I just gave some examples off the top of my head. Well, I think the statement overall would have still been a better statement and more positively received. I'll show you some of the negative reception to the statement in a moment. But first, let's take a look at some of the other comments. Starting with this one by Princess Kitten, because Ray has responded to it. So here's the comment. I'm not sure I understand. You're validating that the show had shortcomings because of its budget, but you don't want people to point out that it had shortcomings? Wouldn't pointing out the shortcomings caused by the lack of budget point out that you need a better budget? And Ray's response is, most people critiquing the show are blaming the team for not caring, for being untalented, being faux activists, being gay, trans, women, etc.
Oh, okay, no. It doesn't have anything to do with they are gay or something. They're just garbage at doing this thing.
Care about the budget and honestly don't care about the show.
You're so delusional.
High Spice is just an easy target that fills their boxes for harassment. Oh man, you really.
It's like being a girl in class at getting 6 in math, and you're like, damn. I think that a teacher is sexist. It's not because I haven't learned anything. No.
Pulling that card, like Ray can say that all he wants, but from what I've seen, the great majority of people that dislike this show talk about things like you using a PNG bread and PNG lamp post in the show itself.
It got me like 14k views. Thank you for that.
And yes, people also disliking the animation. I've barely seen anyone just hating this show because some of the team is gay, trans, women, etc., as Ray claims. Furthermore, I've also seen gay people and trans people and women, guess what? Also disliking High Guardian Spice.
No one actually likes it, man.
Here's some responses to that tweet by Ray. Blackstar Art says, not a single person I've seen criticize your show said it was bad because the creators were gay, trans, or woman. If I did see that, I'd be right with you calling that person a jerk. The problem most people have with High Guardian Spice is that it fails on pretty much every possible level. In fact, I've only ever seen people praise/defend it because of diversity and representation. All you had to do was make a good show. People say that you don't care because that's better than you actually caring,
sad, man.
but just being that spectacularly terrible at what you do. This might be a Jacko account now, says, nice strawman. And Recollection of Bubbles says, there is truth to this, but there is 10 legitimate criticisms about the show.
Okay, that's a good one.
Comment about it. There's just been so many disingenuous takes by people trying to defend this show that it's really rather absurd. So seeing this all from Ray now as well, I suppose it's not going to surprise anybody. For example, do you remember this embarrassing article titled Crunchyroll's newest anime gets review bombed by anti-LGBT
That's just fair.
plus trolls?
No,
and
man.
in their own example of the alleged
sad.
anti-LGBT plus trolls review bombing the show, like almost every comment that they showed was actually leveling fair criticism against the show.
Cancel my subscription. Yeah. I would also recommend for you to cancel that subscription. You know why? Not only is it because of High Guardian Spice, but Crunchyroll is pretty evil, you can say. Most of that stuff you spend for Crunchyroll, like most of that money, it's not coming to the creator. It's not coming to the firm, to the company who made that show. Most of that is just going to Crunchyroll, and the people who are truly working for that stuff won't get like 1% of that. Nothing. This is so sad, man. I would recommend support these specific companies directly with buying out their merch and stuff like that, supporting the creator, buying the books, buying the Blu-ray.
I can't believe the same
I'm not
article
a big
also
fan of
wrote
these
this.
sites, to
While
be
the
honest.
show originally faced tons of controversy when it was first announced,
It's basically
it was
still
quite
a
obvious that many people on the internet
piracy
were
site,
incredibly
but they're
excited for the
making
show,
money
with
off
many
it.
users
This is
on
how
Twitter
it
and
feels
reviewers
like.
alike showing their support. And their evidence for this alleged
Yeah,
massive
very
amounts of
licensed, so
support for the
not
show was literally just 3 tweets. One from Ray Rodriguez himself, another from Julia, who, if I recall, is a voice actor on the show, and the third from this anime feminist website. So yeah, I just have to point out how the people that defend this show come off as extremely disingenuous, and they seem to love ignoring all the
Bad sentiment.
actual criticism that people have towards it. Going back to Ray's statement, and you guys are going to be utterly shocked to hear this next part, but you see this button in the corner. We're going to click it in a moment, and that's going to show us the tweets that are hidden. Hidden by
What?
Ray. You see, it looks like he's attempting to hide tweets that give negative reception to his statement. Let's take a look. Hidden replies. Well, first one here says, from Zorky. Animation quality okay, background art fine, but writing does not need a bigger budget to be good. Heck,
That's true.
High Guardian Spice's writing is
Just need to be
disaster that
creative.
can't be excused. What, do you need to hire a group of writers to figure out how normal people talk? Cool.
Wait, you don't even need to be creative. There are simple layouts which you just can follow.
Change the fact that the whole situation was bad. High Garden Spice isn't the only Crunchyroll original to have this problem, and maybe Crunchyroll shouldn't have tried to enter this space. There are a lot of shows with low budgets that are fine. Yours
True.
just sucked. Full stop, it's just a bad show, and should be used as a guide as to what to avoid and how to make something better. You can't blame writing on budget, so you admit it's bad? It's also
Called
the fact
it.
that
Called
Crunchyroll
it.
notoriously lied about kicking back money earned to the original creators and pays their translators slave wages.
Yeah, but translators get nothing. It's so sad. You know why? It's like a drug farmer on a plantation. If they die, it's not a problem because they are easily replaceable.
So when they released a
problem.
show of that poor quality,
One
it
dies,
was
the
going
next
to
one comes in.
100% get a bunch more
Basically the
criticism
same for
than it would have
translators.
otherwise. I dare you to hide my reply because you
won't get
can't
paid
handle any
higher.
criticism of how abysmal the show was. So yeah, those were some of the responses that Ray Rodriguez hid. Guess he doesn't want people reading those ones. Oh well, a bit too late for us now, isn't it? Anyways, while I did not expect to talk about High Guardian Spice again, this was all rather amusing, so I hope you enjoyed this segment. As always, thank you for
Yeah.
tuning in. Let me know what you
Nice
think.
videos always. Like, I love watching him. He makes Twitter content digestible. Definitely subscribe to him and subscribe to me if you want to see more reaction, gameplay, Genshin, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm always up to date with the gaming news, and if you want to see more of that, yeah, just subscribe, leave a like and comment. Bye.